Greg Gutfeld on this very special edition of Gutfeld. He has an excuse. Let's kick things off with a couple of jokes. The famous Rockefeller Center Christmas tree has been lit and holiday shoppers are filling up Fifth Avenue, but there are other things. The Christmas spirit is alive and well in New York City. For instance, instead of talk, the police are outlining bodies with festive garlands. Disgraced former Congressman Anthony Weiner is considering a run for New York City Council.
Good morning, beautiful.
That means citizens over 18 may once again get to vote for him, and those under 18 might get this in their DMs. Caitlin Clark acknowledged her privilege in Time magazine. Hopefully this move will lead to more African Americans having the opportunity to play pro basketball.
Good morning, girl.
The Unabomber's brother expressed concerns that alleged assassin Luigi Mangione may have been influenced by Ted Kaczynski. He also expressed concerns that people will always refer to him as the Unabomber's brother. Cher has reportedly fled her Malibu home as wildfires rage nearby. It's a smart move since plastic has a low melting point. Parliament has argued against a proposed law banning marriage between cousins. One American observer asked, why stop there? Okay, now to my searing monologue. Doom scrolling is a new word, and it is appearing a lot in the news lately, mostly in articles about how to avoid it. Like this one. Wait a minute, isn't rotting our brains a bit much? Even articles about doom scrolling are filmed with doom. This is why I approach the news of the day in the spirit of my mentor, Greg Gutfeld. His reaction to the Daniel Penny verdict on Monday. Hooray for Daniel Penny and those heroes who risk everything to help others. And a more than deserved F.U. mag. How you doing, Greg? And kudos on only swearing once, Greg, unlike Dana Perino. This is the way Greg does it. You'll look for the good in the news, but you don't ignore the bad stuff. Just don't get bogged down. Call it the BS and move on. This week started with great news on two fronts. Daniel Penny's acquittal and the capture of the infamous suspected CEO assassin. The opening of A Tale of Two Cities reads, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. I quote from the Dickens classic because sometimes it feels we're living in a tale of two narratives. After the news broke on both those big stories, the inevitable social media opinions followed suit. On the Daniel Penny acquittal, New York City Council member Tiffany Kahn said this, Jordan Neely deserved better than the violence of being denied access to stable housing and health care, and then dehumanized for it. But then astute read of a fact check via X's Community Notes feature, they pointed out how Neely got a plea deal after punching a 67-year-old woman in 2021, and actually did get free access to housing and health care. But he bolted from the facility after just 13 days. And like clockwork, Tiffany locked down her X account so all followers can see her posts. Too bad for us. Then, made for social media outbursts from Luigi Mangione while in police custody, we have a lot of armchair Marxists celebrating the murder of a CEO as kind of payback for cap. Meanwhile, you've got people hawking merchandise glorifying an accused killer. And then there's the always rational journalist Taylor Lorenz on Piers Morgan.
Why would you be in such a celebratory mood about the execution of another human being? Aren't you supposed to be on the caring, sharing left where, you believe in the sanctity of life?
I do believe in the sanctity of life, and I think that's why I felt so many other Americans joy, unfortunately, because it feels like...
Seriously?
I mean...
Joy in a man's execution?
Maybe not joy, but certainly not empathy.
No, definitely not empathy, but something with path in it. Sociopath? Psychopath? Pathetic, maybe. But it seems that it's not difficult to find people sympathetic to the idea of executing CEOs. Right, Liz Warren?
Look, we'll say it over and over. Violent answer. This guy gets a trial who's allegedly killed the CEO of United Health. But you can only push people so far. And then it matters into their own hands.
So is violence bad or not? I guess it all depends on who's getting hurt. I don't know where the line is for Liz, but I'm assuming it stops before you get to politician. And then you've got talking heads on CNN who lamented the suspect's newfound fame, and a host who couldn't resist asking the graphics guy to take down the banner so they could see Luigi's abs.
The man accused of killing United Healthcare's CEO going viral. Luigi Mangione seemed to captivate the attention of online masses. So much of the clips we were watching at the top of this segment are driven by the fact that this is an attractive. We got to drop the banner to show why.
He did drop the banner. When you see the reaction to these two very different events, it can give one pause. We have people calling for vigilante violence, the penny verdict, and we're seeing an assassin celebrated on social media. One might think, how can I possibly be sharing the planet with these people? But the evidence is everywhere that most people see through this foolishness, and that is a reason to celebrate. People like Taylor Lorenz are outliers. Just like the trolls who are talking about how cute this newly famous murderer is, those same people would be calling out his toxic masculinity the second as Obamacare. You can look at these posts online and think the modern world has absolutely lost its mind. But we have to remember, this has happened before. We do romanticize killers. It happened with the Menendez brothers, the Boston bombers. Even John Dillinger had it back in the 1930s. People are captivated, titillated by murder. But in the end, most of us can tell the difference between a hero and a villain. Let's welcome tonight's guest. She spent more time on the sidelines than Colin Kaepernick, host of the Michelle Tafoya podcast, Michelle Tafoya. Progressive avoid him like he's a student loan payment. Comedian Lou Perez. This is the first time she can't fit a kid's clothes. New York Times best-selling author and Fox News contributor Kat Tim. He's far too tall for mistletoe. New York Times best-selling author, comedian, and former NWA world champion Tyrus. That's it. Okay, Michelle, what do you think? Are you at all surprised that there are people out there who are celebrating this guy?
I am. I just am. He killed someone. We see it on video, right? And this is bizarre. There were people comparing and contrasting Daniel Penny and this dude.
Yeah.
And here's the comparison. They're both 26 years old. That's it.
Yeah.
After that, there's no comparison. I find it really bizarre when people kind of romanticize these people. There's got to be a term for that. Is there some sort of pathology that describes why people do this? I don't get it. But as you pointed out, the good news. So Daniel Penny is unanimously, he's acquitted. And all the BLM people came out and said all the awful things they said, which was amazing to me. But unlike 2020 in my hometown of Minneapolis, we did not see the big protests and the demonstrations that I think that BLM really wanted. So I do get the sense maybe they're starting to turn, that the fever on that has broken.
Well, yeah. Well, to be fair, BLM ran out of black people.
They did?
Did you not see the march? It was just like white liberals and one brother looking for the subway.
And what do you think it is this case, or do you think it's just that the air has run out of the BLM movement?
You can only piss down our backs so long and tell us the rain. Americans just got tired of it. You can't group us anymore. And the unintentional thing of this administration is we all felt the hurt together. We all felt the electric bills. We all felt the misjustice. We all said, like, wait, they're charging for a crime that doesn't exist yet? That resonated with everyone. But nothing's ever going to stop the keyboard cowboys. It's so easy to be like, yeah, I got killed, because they're not affected by it. It sounds cool. They get likes. They get attention. But when you actually going to walk up to say to somebody's face, like, oh, yeah, I'm glad he got shot. If you said that there's consequences. So on these online there's nothing new. They all talk tough on their little keyboards and say, oh, I'm glad he got. But show me what was tough about it. He shot the back. And I'm sorry. There's never been a time in history where anybody said shooting a guy in the is brave. It's literally the most cowardly thing you do. He didn't turn him around and face him and all this other things that they try to make this guy out to be. He shot somebody in the back in cold, period. There's nothing about him that's honorable. But because he gets on, because he's good, and we see this all the time. If somebody's good looking, especially, how lonely people are. If they're willing to want to go on a date or fantasize against a guy who would shoot you in the back. That says more about them than it does anybody else. The problem is we should stop echoing it. We should literally, when those people do that stuff, you should just block them and move on because their voice does not matter. They're not in the game.
Yeah. Lou Perez, did you make put a line between the people who are talking about him being good looking and then the people who are justifying his actions? They're saying, like, the way Liz Warren, I'm surprised that someone who's such a prominent figure, that she comes out and says you can only push people so far. And then she says, we're not, we're advocating violence. But it kind of sounds like she's approaching that line, right?
Yeah, it's a really cynical move because
I'm dealing with these kitty cats now.
In a way, it's like, is she trying to kind of protect herself? Because when you really get, dig into the details about the healthcare system, look, incentives are there due to regulations, government regulations and policies and rule makers. So if somebody were going the assassin, way, I mean, there's going to be insane amount of bloodshed if you have a whole industry that's, that has a lot of powerful people behind it.
Yeah.
It is really, it is gross. I hate to see it. And you're right.
Good morning, little babe.
Like the stuff you can get away with if you're good
How are
looking.
you?
Right? In the 80s, John Hinckley Jr. tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan to get Jodie Foster, and it didn't work because he's not good looking and Jodie Foster is gay. So
He's had a lot of hurdles, didn't he?
a lot. He had to get over a lot, and I'm really upset too because I think this guy has a manifest, right? And it just shows like the state of like publishing that we're in, where it's so hard to get people to read your books that you will go to insane lengths. And just so everyone knows, I have a manifesto. It's called That Joke Isn't Funny Anymore. Don't push me too far.
Yes. Okay, Kat. On the Daniel Penny, I mean, you're seeing a lot of people. I only had one reaction there, but there are people out there. It wasn't just the BLM people standing on the steps of the courthouse. There are people out there now, and if you listen to talk radio, left-wing talk radio, it's not all left-wingers, but there are people that are trying to take the Daniel Penny thing and turn it into what was Ferguson, or what was, their heyday seems to be over.
So what I think is that...
Hang on, you guys. I got to clean out this cat.
It's impossible. But he would actually believe that Daniel Penny was a racist man out for blood. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I feel like if you know the facts of what happened, then you could have no other opinion other than the fact this man does not belong in prison, right? The fact that if you were on that subway car, you would have also been afraid. The fact that it wasn't just white people helping him restrain the guy, all the things that all of us here know, right? But I guess these people heard something about it and they had their worldview already set and they're like, okay, well, I think it must be this because that's what I've already decided things are. And they don't want to, it's the sunken cost fallacy. They don't want to go back on it because I don't know how possibly think that at this point.
Yeah.
I really don't know how anybody could be honest and know all the facts and possibly think that at this point. To me, I honestly just don't even really believe it. Maybe that they're being willfully obtuse and haven't looked into it anymore, or they're trying to twist their brain into some kind of pretzel rather than admit that maybe they were wrong or this wasn't what assumed it was, because it's impossible to look at the facts of what happened here and have any other conclusion except the one that was reached.
Although you got to follow the money too, like the father of this guy now
that too
filed a civil suit.
Well,
and
here's the
to
thing.
say that I shouldn't be going through this. My son didn't have to die. Did he even know his son? I mean, this father of this man. This is a homeless guy with schizophrenia. I don't think the father was anywhere in his life.
Real quick, if you want to go with this line, if a racist man walked on a subway and saw a black man threaten to kill more black people, he would
Cleaning
just say,
litter
"Go ahead,
boxes
where's
is
the
no
popcorn?"
fun.
Well, it's a good day for me.
Exactly.
It
Good
makes
point.
no sense.
And this guy stepped up and,
Fucking
he
hate
suffered the
doing
consequences. But he said if he could do it again, he would do the
worst.
same thing. I'll be appearing this weekend at Bananas in New Jersey. Tickets available at TomShalou.com. And I'm going to be touring with Greg Gutfeld. Heard of him? Next year. And you'll have the opportunity for a live meet and greet with me, Tom Shalou, at select dates. Go to ggutfeld.com. And up next, we elected the Don, but the warfare goes on.
Is this still a thing?
And tonight, is this still a thing? Aggressive chumps still attacking Trump, even though 45 will now be 47. The left not letting up. New York Attorney General Letitia James says she will not drop the civil fraud case against him, arguing presidential immunity does not protect him from litigation. Evidently, neither do common sense, the will of the people, or millions of voters. Meanwhile, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg is urging Judge Juan Marchand not to toss out Trump's guilty verdict on the hush money case. It's nice to see Alvin Bragg something besides a meat lover's pizza. Okay. Do you think that they are just let this fade away, that they can't give it up right now? They know that Trump seems to be winning and winning big, but they can't face their supporters because they promised.
I really do feel like it's the same thing as what I talked about. The people,
Lord have mercy. I'm so sorry to hear that.
People don't realize it actually is an option to say you've learned something. People will do anything rather than say, you know what, I might not have been right about that. I've learned something, and people just won't do that for some reason.
Yeah, it is pretty cold.
I know personally
32 degrees here.
People
is what it said last night. Let me see what it says now.
And voted for him because of the hush money case.
Yeah.
Because they were so disturbed by Trump saying that he's not above the law when really no one ever's been charged in this way before. So clearly the law was always above charging anyone else. So clearly political. People who were like,
34.
I still hate Trump and I'm going to vote for him. I know multiple people personally, so I don't know how many people like that there are, right? But they just feel like they're going to go down with the ship, I guess. Or, again, there is the option to say, you know what, I've learned something. It's okay.
Well, that's the thing, is that do you think that they know, Michelle, that the lawfare stuff makes him more popular? Every time they filed suit against him, he got more
I'm going to run and get some coffee. I'll be right back.
You know, why don't they give it up? Because they know it's just helping to make him stronger.
You remember the payday that he got when they found him guilty on those? All of a sudden, this $150 million poured into his coffers for the campaign.
Yeah.
Because it said it made him more popular. And it not only that, as to Kat's point, it pissed people off. It's like, really? You're doing this in New York? And I'm flummoxed by how many New Yorkers seem to be okay with these two yo-yos, Letitia James and Alvin Bragg. It's like, get them out of there. You see crime on the street. You see illegal immigrants beating up cops and being let out the next day or within hours. And then there's this. And it's nobody cares except that it's Donald Trump, and the Trump haters just want to see this happen. But I do get the sense, what you indicated, they're kind of going to let this dissolve in the water.
Yeah.
Like right now, they can't say, oh, we got to let it. They refuse to say we were wrong. So I just feel like, in the course of time, it's going to dissolve. And I'd like to believe that New Yorkers would elect different people for these roles.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember I was of the Giuliani era, Lou, and people were willing, then New Yorkers were willing to elect a Republican to get us out of the problems that we were in. I don't think we're in that world anymore. That ship has sailed, right?
And I'm sort of, when this came up, I was thinking, which case? Yeah, there's been so many that I
can't keep track of them.
Yeah, how many charges, which case? To Kat's point, I think like they're so deep into this. I feel like they need to just start coming up with any new charge they can. Just start making stuff up. Like just keep going with it. Let's be your thing, and just see, have some fun with it, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, wait till he's president again, and then they're going to go after him for something, right?
Accuse him of being a spy or something like that. Like make it real New York, you know? Exactly. Donald Trump was doing graffiti.
Good morning, Porter Farmer.
Yeah. It happened. Tyrus, are they gonna ever let you think?
It's 34 here. I just had to bring the old dogs in.
Because the people,
the young dogs have their coats on.
The people who help.
The old dogs won't keep their coats on. And it's in the air if they're going to keep their coats on too. We'll see. If they're smart, they'd leave them the F alone. You know.
It is
Alf
6 a.m.
is
on
the
East Coast.
dude.
It is Thursday, December 12th.
Hey,
This is Fox and Friends. Now the news. The Pentagon
ice
has no
in the
clue.
yard.
No clue where
yeah,
New
ice
Jersey
on the
drones
truck.
Are coming from but they insist they're not from.
Hey, man.
Really? So
9 degrees. 9 degrees, Mama Red. Fuck all of that. How do you people live like that? How do you live? How do you exist? Fuck. How do you get out of the bed? How do you get out of bed? Holy fuck me in a handbasket.
And this is Fox and Friends, now the news.
That's
The Pentagon
bad.
has no clue. No clue
That's
where
pretty bad.
New Jersey drones are coming from, they insist they're not from a foreign adversary. Really? So whose eyes in the skies?
Plus, a fingerprint match in the United Healthcare CEO's murder as wanted posters for other healthy popping up.
One Democrat senator making this outrageous remark about the killing.
You can only push people so far. And then they start to take matters into their own hands.
Okay, and he will be there with bells on. Donald Trump is set to ring the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange this morning at 9:30 Eastern Time, as new Fox polls show the country
You're at 23
is optimistic for Donald Trump's return to the White House. And so is he, by the way. Fox
Yeah, F all that. All of it. Ugh. It's 34 here and I'm freezing.
Today, New Jersey's governor is set to
Complaining,
speak with the White House
freezing.
about those mysterious drone sightings
Upset.
throughout the Northeast. Take your time.
This comes as the Pentagon says it has no evidence that drones are coming from an Iranian mothership.
Good.
I mean, just incredible.
All right,
Lucas Thomason is here with
good.
more.
Thank you for that.
Lucas, what do you know?
Well, good morning, guys. Despite nearly a dozen of these mysterious drone sightings over New Jersey and Staten Island, the Pentagon's Northern Command says it has not been asked yet to help ID these things. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy wants some answers from Washington.
I think allegedly, in my opinion, I think China is invading our airspace again and told Biden, start something then. Shoot them out of it. We'll nuke you or something like that. But that's my personal feelings, in my opinion. Allegedly I think China said to Biden, we're going to invade your airspace, ain't shit you do about it, or we're stop sending you antibiotics and food. In my opinion. Allegedly on YouTube.
Washington.
That's just me, though.
Wild assertion by Congressman Van Drew today about Iran with a big boat off of
A mothership.
Whatever
that
Come on, man. The Department of Defense said there's
Yeah,
zero
it's 34
evidence
here
to that
now.
effect. FBI said zero evidence. I'm not sure what he's been
If
watching
you
lately,
see a
but you might
drone
want to watch
dig,
the news. It's going to be on again. With
I
the
don't
White
know.
House
Bend over.
tomorrow. Folks out there to know we're not. Listen, you're frustrated, so are we. I promise you, this is our top priority.
Bend over
Not
and
everyone
take
who is
it.
under the full
I don't
path of
know.
those drones in New Jersey feels the same way about it not being a threat now. On
That's just
Capitol
my
Hill,
opinion.
New Jersey Congressman Jeff Van Drew, you just heard the governor talking about him, claims
That's what I
these
think.
drones are coming from offshore.
The thoughts in my head that I think.
These drones should be shot down, whether it
Yeah, they
was some
should be.
crazy hobbyist that we can't imagine, or whether it is Iran.
It's
And I
34
think
there
it
too,
very
Lucky?
possibly could
Yeah.
be. They should be shot
Oh.
for not getting the full deal. And
Yeah, I
the
refuse
military
too.
is on
They just gonna have to
alert.
blow my head off. Allegedly,
Pentagon
in my
refuted
opinion, on
this claim. The
YouTube.
deputy press secretary said, quote, there is not any true that. There is no Iranian
Listen.
ship off the coast of the United States. And
Somebody is over because they're invading our airspace. In my opinion, allegedly on YouTube. Somebody's bent over somewhere. That's all I'm saying. In my opinion.
there's no so-called mothership launching drones toward the United States. Now, back to New Jersey, some
Take a
mayors
deep
want the
breath and
governor
just take
to
it.
get some
I don't
answers
fucking
quick.
know.
Are you telling me that somebody can be flying drones over my town in Pequannock
Yes.
and nobody has any idea
Nobody
what's
knows.
going on? This is unacceptable. Where are you?
This is the thing. This is why it makes no fucking sense to me. Okay, so what about air traffic? Okay, these things are supposedly the size of SUVs. How are they staying off of radar? Why do we have satellites up base watching absolutely everything that goes on around on this planet, and we don't know where these drones are coming from? Who do you think you're lying to? Who do you think you're lying to? No, seriously. Who do you think you're lying to? They know who the fuck it is. You too, little Bo Beep. Stay safe and have a good day. Yeah, it's bullshit. I call bullshit. They know exactly what the fuck's going on, and they don't want to know, in my opinion, allegedly on YouTube.
Phil Murphy. This is ridiculous.
Now today, the chief of
making me
police from
mad.
every town across New Jersey has been invited to a joint briefing where hopefully we can learn some more about these drones.
Hey, Lucas, the crazy thing is
Go
we
eat
get
some.
these briefings, but they say nothing. And the people emerge after the briefing angrier than they were before the briefing. The governor Cole doesn't show up to a briefing. The government gives a briefing. They don't say anything. And then
Exactly my
dark
farmer.
chip.
Exactly my point.
But we don't. But they just.
I call bullshit.
Druids wrong. I mean, this is
I call
maddening.
bullshit.
Right, the Pentagon tracks all
I call
Iranian
fucking
vessels. It's not,
bullshit.
the U.S. Navy. They have a lot of ships. You remember there were some Iranian warships that went down near Venezuela, but typically they don't cross the Atlantic Ocean. Remember the Russian spy
I call
ships
bullshit.
that
They know
Pentagon
exactly
tracked
what the
across
fuck's
ocean.
happening.
So it's not
And they
likely
do not
that
want to
there's a
tell us.
mothership off the coast, but certainly some people want answers of where these drones are coming from, and hopefully get that more today.
No kidding. All right.
Thank you very much,
Lucas.
These
So
leaders-
frustrating story to report.
It is, because these leaders are saying there's no threat, nothing to be worried about, but we have no idea. We don't have any information, so it's so misleading.
Wait a minute.
How do you know it's not a threat?
Right, exactly.
The leaders are saying, no big deal, not a threat. Okay, well then what is it? Oh, we don't know. Where's it coming from? Oh, we don't know. What? What? Seriously?
And answers of where these drones coming from,
Like,
and hopefully get
isn't
to
that how
No
bad
kidding.
parents treat their kids? Dude, I said, why? Because I said so. Isn't that like, that's bad parenting, let alone governance. You know what I mean. That's crazy. It's fine. You're safe. You don't need... But where's that coming from? We don't know. Why are they there? We don't know. What are they going to do? We don't know. We're perfectly safe. We're perfectly safe.
U.S. Navy, they don't have a lot of ships. You remember there were some Iranian warships that went down near Venezuela. Typically, they don't cross the Atlantic Ocean. Remember the Russian spy ship that the Pentagon tracked across. And so it's not likely there's a mothership off the coast, but certainly some people want answers of where these drones coming from, and hopefully get that more today.
I'm Gen X. We're
Thank you
bullies.
very much, Lucas. So frustrating
Yeah,
story
me
to
too.
report.
My parents, all my parents told me because I said so.
But we have no idea.
Every
We don't
last
have
one of
any
them.
information, so it's so misleading. How do you know it's not a threat?
Right, exactly. There's a New Jersey Assemblywoman
Every
went
last
to the
one of
briefing,
them.
yesterday at the state police headquarters in New Jersey, and it was a briefing by the Department of Homeland Security. Her name is
Because
Dawn
I said
Fantasia,
so.
and she posted on X, "We know nothing." And
that's what they're telling you right now.
Threat is incredibly misleading because
What's up with the drones?
we see it with our own eyes. I've seen them over
It's
my
not
house.
safe.
I live in Bergen County, New Jersey. I see them with my own eyes. And for the federal government to say we know what it is, we've been talking over the last week or so that the federal government obviously has assets where they can take off, and they know where they're taking off and landing. This Dawn Fantasia said yesterday, we do not know.
It's hilarious. Teddy talk about this. He's like, they're so full of crap. We can take anything out of the sky. We want to take out of the sky. He was fucking really going off. He was very upset. It was hilarious.
Where they're taking off from. And I think we all thought that the feds know something, but they don't. And so if the feds say, we don't know anything, people are going to freak out.
Yeah, but they're saying they don't know, but saying they do know. They're saying it's not a threat, but we don't know where. They know something.
Right.
They know
Exactly.
something, and they don't want to tell
Because
us
it
what
said
it is.
so.
We're lucky that this is happening above New York.
Because
and
it
New
said
Jersey.
so.
Because if it was Texas or another southern state, do you know the reaction from the people? It would be down.
Yeah, we would have shot it down.
It is against the law, but they would react to it. I mean, if I remember correctly, when
Would have shot him down.
the Chinese spy balloon, it had went over many states. But when it went over South Carolina, it was a big deal. Because we're just not used to...
Yeah. Went over many states, but when it went over South Carolina, it got blown out in the water. Yeah. You don't come for us. What he's basically saying is they're lucky they stayed over in New Jersey and New York. Because if this was any other state, they would have been blown out of the sky.
correctly, when they found out about the spy balloon, it had went over many states.
up,
But when it went over
Miss
South Carolina,
Blind.
it was a big deal. Because we're just not used to...
No, sissy came out herself.
Trust federal government to begin with.
I think
we're not just going to allow
my mother from
drones
making
in
me
our
tough.
community to
Yeah.
happen. But apparently, it's acceptable.
So look at the New York Post cover. It says close encounters of the turnpike, like the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind. To your point about people in Texas probably shoot it down.
Who drone it? Funny.
Brett Velikovich, he's a drone expert. He's been on our show numerous times. He says the problem is we don't know the rules of engagement.
Yes.
Yeah, well, the government's acting like parents.
The real issue here is even if we knew
Said so.
where these drones
That's
were, how
why.
they were flying, and all this, our law enforcement doesn't even know the rules of engagement for downing road drones over the U.S. The FAA has clear guidance on what to do. So if a drone is flying with a bomb, there's not much anyone can really do about it as the current law stands. And we need to provide law enforcement with the proper tools to actually do something about it, because this is just the beginning.
I'm sorry. I call bullshit on that too. He says there's no drone guidance for law enforcement. That's bullshit. Because every YouTuber that tries fucking drone gets in trouble. Every YouTuber that tries to buy a fucking drone gets in fucking trouble. Am I lying? If I'm lying, I'm dying. I swear to gosh. Every YouTube person I watch, when they try to fly their drone, make sure they have clearance, that they're allowed to, they get in trouble. And now you're telling me that mysterious SUV-sized drones can just fly around and there's no guidance for law enforcement? But there's plenty of guidance for law enforcement when the public is flying their drones. Oh, law enforcement's got fucking guidance then, in my opinion. Bullshit. Bullshit. I'm calling absolute bullshit on absolutely every facet of this story.
Drones over the U.S. The FAA has not provided clear guidance on what to do. So if a drone is flying with a bomb, there's not much anyone can really do about it as the current stands. And we need to provide law enforcement with a proper
Go out and
tools
try to
actually
fly a
do something
drone.
about it,
See what
because
happens.
This is just the beginning.
See what happens to you.
So Brett Velikovich has been over with a lot.
Yes.
And this is the main reason he's helping. And the Ukrainians have moved on technology, I guess the Russians to a degree too, further than anyone thought. They're making their own. So he's what they're capable of. He knows the size and shape
bullshit.
of it. Number one, you should
It's
be
all
calling.
bullshit.
I'm thinking about it. We get confirmed.
Straight
And
lied
we
to your
gotta have
face.
Missile defense. The president talked about
Lying
drone,
to your face.
Iron Dome. But we need a way to take this down.
Even
Think about
Fox
it.
News is
We got
fucking
drones
lying.
on our
There
southern-
are
drones our
regulations on
northern border.
drones.
You know, the human traffickers
Yes,
are
there
using it.
is.
The cartels are implementing it. And now we're watching surges hit cities. Surges of less sophisticated drones than these, perhaps. So in one day, we could get up and we could have drones raining everywhere. And we're going to think to ourselves, what were we thinking?
But how do
This
you
is a wake-up call.
But Brian, these things are as big as an
Gotta bring it
SUV,
down.
they say.
Yeah, they're as big as an SV.
Bring it down.
Bring it
to-
down.
You can bring it down without shooting it down?
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
you
they
can jam them, and the Russians have been successful jamming Ukrainian drones.
Right. I don't think I'm giving away secrets. In Washington, D.C. and the packet.
Okay, yes, there's many things you can do with them. You can shoot EMP at them, take out all their electrical, take them down. You can shoot them down, the whole shitload that you can do. God knows if this was an American citizen flying a drone, y'all be doing a whole bunch of extra shit. Let's be honest. Extra. Yes, there are things we can do about it. The government is choosing not to. Why? That is the real question that nobody's asking on this fucking news this morning. Why? Why isn't the government taking them down?
Security packages around the president and whatnot. They've got
100%.
They've got drone teams that can knock things out of the sky.
Clearance.
We're
okay. Exactly, Mama Red. Come on, man.
For Governor Murphy to say they are not a threat, even though they don't know
I
anything.
call fucking
I think
bullshit.
What they're thinking is, okay, it's only the size of hood,
an F-150.
You could not possibly have a big bomb on it. I'm just thinking he's thinking
That's so stupid.
it's not like
That's
that.
true.
But here's the other thing.
Because they are suicide drones that go right in.
You can have bombs, you can have guns on it, you can have all types of stuff.
Backpack.
Well, they had it in a pressure cooker. Ultimately, we've heard they're following all the rules, but that because in 2023 the FAA said you can fly drones at night without lights. But here's where they're breaking the rule. And the law says that the operator has got to have line of sight with the drone. So it can't be flying 20 miles away because you can't see it. They're breaking the law. They should do something about it. Go after them on that. And
any chance this could be just like some smart
Anybody else trying to fly a drone? Trouble. Police.
There are 150
charges
over New Jersey.
If you have a smart kid, question them today before they go to school, and you give them Pebbles or Fruit Loops with less. Maybe it's the artificial flavoring. Let's talk about this at 10 minutes after the hour. Sound the bell, if I could. I believe that's a.
Trump is going to ring the bell at the stock exchange opening bell today. Amazing. The stock market invited Trump to ring the bell. You know why? The damn Dow has been up so high. Because he made it back in.
You know, we got people ringing the bell on the corner here.
Attaboy, Trump. Big old attaboy.
We're talking about
every time
a big
bell rings, an angel gets her wings. Remember that?
According to It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes.
And that is based on a true story. So,
what was the true story?
Someone had a wonderful life.
I mean, how do we get back to the topic of that sport?
Let's go back to the bell. Let's talk about what it says for the folks at home. At
phone
9:30, Donald Trump is going to ring the bell at the New York Stock Exchange.
Why would he do
Yeah,
that?
that's a good
We
bone.
need that song, Ring My Bell.
Come on, Tobin.
Well, that's a different song.
Right.
Ring My Bell.
That's a good
You know,
bone.
There he is.
From the 70s.
That's 95.
Moose has a bone.
You know, ringing the bell in New York is just, it's one of the most visible symbols of success in New York. And so, going to be two.
Damn them eyebrows.
One is going to be the fact that it's going to ring the bell. The other,
Trump's eyebrows are hilarious.
ring my bell.
Look at this.
You know, there he is.
From the 70s.
70s.
95.
95,
And,
sorry.
You know,
Brows, though.
in New York is just, it's one of the most visible symbols of
What
success
in the
New York.
Lord's
And so
name you
there's
got
gonna be
growing
two
above your
stories.
eye,
One
homie?
is gonna be
What
the fact
is
that it's gonna
that?
ring the bell. The other, it's not official
Why?
yet because they have not released it, but he's going to be the time manager.
Now that's what it
for
looks
the
like
year.
now.
Well, it looks like
Damn.
everybody's getting on board now.
He aged
Wall
well.
Street,
He looks better old than
all
he
the
did
major
young.
companies now, they want to meet with the
Oh,
guy, Amazon, Jeff Bezos. got
Them
all the,
eyebrows, though. What
the
the
tech
fuck?
bros, coming down tomorrow.
He must have not been married
I think
then.
There's this new acceptance of he's changed, man. In the
Have
sense that he
somebody
wants to work with
landscaping
everybody.
that
Wants to work
face.
with everybody. There's unity.
That's funny.
I was in the gym.
I've never
yesterday.
seen
I could not
eyebrows like
believe
that
this.
in my life.
Time in New York City, 3 MAGA hats in the gym working out. And in New York City, I mean, Texas is okay.
Take it off?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
People do.
They recognize
People
you?
do.
They did. They came up to me and they were proud of it. They wanted to show me the hat. And I just think there's an incredible spirit
Trump
in the
effect.
country. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would say, how about
It's the second time he's received this honor to be on the front cover of the magazine. I'm curious if Melania will be on the front cover of any of these magazines.
Right. I asked that question. I got
You did get
You
rejected.
did not. No. Well, she not really. I thought she answered well. She was saying it's not about me. It's more about.
I regret my question.
No, you did, I was glad you asked that. Also, top contenders: Joe Rogan, Elon, Kamala, Kate Middleton, and. On the short list, Time Magazine's crediting Trump for reshaping the American electorate in a stunning political comeback.
Thanks. Let's see what the rest says.
Caitlin Clark got Athlete of the Year.
Right. No doubt about it. And see her abs. In the picture, Mark Zuckerberg gave $1 million.
We're about to talk about that, I think.
I'm
jumping
teasing.
ahead.
I'm getting ahead. I'll put it this way. I'll try this again. A tech titan is going to give a lot.
Here's the other thing. Those drones were going over national parks up there in New York and New Jersey. It's a no-fly zone for national parks. Like, you can't make this shit up. You just can't.
I wonder who that would be.
And that brings us to this. Some of the headlines that we're seeing here.
Go on, fly a drone. Go outside today and fly a drone.
The last
See what
Fox News
happens.
poll of the year showing a majority of voters feel hopeful victory. Look at that, 54%.
And with less than 6 weeks until he is sworn in, Trump's inauguration day plans are well underway, including reportedly.
This is unbelievable.
Apparently, he sent an invitation to the Chinese Xi Jinping. Hey, come on by. I'm getting inaugurated for a second time. Should he accept, he would be the first foreign leader to ever attend.
That would be cool.
I think the Hungarian president's been invited.
That would be cool.
He left. Also, the Argentinian guy with the interesting hair.
Netanyahu's never going to.
So,
All right.
President Trump has invited Xi Jinping from China. Xi Jinping. Xi. To the inauguration. That would be so cool. Can you imagine the threat level of Xi Jinping and Trump together? The threat. Wow. The anxiety.
Trump's inaugural fund is getting a big boost from a surprising source. You're never going to believe who it is. It's Mark Zuckerberg with Meta donating $1 million as the tech billionaire looks to ties with Donald Trump.
I think that'll work.
Remember, he took him off Facebook in 2021 for January 6th. Then he got his account back a few years later.
Well, that's one way to make the $1 billion. I feel mended already if I was Trump, and he's not the only one putting differences aside. How about this? Huge Democratic senator, the tallest man in Washington, John Fetterman, also joining the Truth Social to quote milks where they are and calling to pardon Trump in his very first post. This is unbelievable.
I did not have this on my bingo.
First Democratic leader to join. And today, here in New York City, incoming border czar Tom Homan is meeting with the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, the Democratic mayor weighing bypassing the City Council to end sanctuary laws, costing the city millions of dollars.
That's right. Yeah, you've been with this before. When he first took office, he went up to Albany and said, "Can we need some of this?" And they basically tried to humiliate him.
He's the fall guy.
How dare you ask for this? This is the way it's been. Go back to New York City, and now the country has changed so much. He's one of the few left-wing mayors. Or Democratic mayor say, I got to change these rules. I got 67,000 people I got to feed and clothe and occupied, many of which have neck tattoos and call themselves the Venezuelan gun.
I do feel like if you're part of the resistance, you're not in good company now. I mean, even people that once criticized Trump are now, let's just give him a shot.
Right.
Like, let's not criticize him before he actually does anything. I think most sane people, right, in the Never Trump crowd, and you've made a business model out of this.
Unless you got this
and want to do what's best for
Trump
the country.
derangement syndrome.
I think John Fetterman is trying to wake up his party. Like, let's just try to do let's meet the voters where they are.
I'm surprised by Fetterman.
Supporters, we clearly lost them.
I'm really surprised by Fetterman. He went on Joe Rogan, and he did a very good interview. And kind of changed my mind about him. He's more of a libertarian than he is a Democrat. And he's definitely come a long way since the stroke and everything. And he explains, why he has that rhythm and everything. But anyway, if you want to know more about him, John Fetterman, he did a Joe Rogan special. I liked the interview. It made my mind about him a little bit. And he's saying he's saying sensical stuff now, not nonsensical, sensical. And he's really trying to be, reach across the aisle to the Republicans. And I think Fetterman's somebody to watch right now. I really do.
They were once on our side.
He's impressing me.
Yeah. You know what? I think it would be great for the incoming White House to reach out to people who ran to the middle and who's acting. And to say, listen, I hear what you're saying. I appreciate it. I'm going to tell you these 4 or 5 things that are going to be offered in the next 6 months. Tell me what you can get on board on, especially with Speaker Johnson.
Yeah.
A lot of these Democrats ran like Republicans, and he's like two-seat majority. If you want to hold them to anything, just say, look, guys, I'm going to get you on board because I have a caucus that tends to be a little raucous.
Yeah.
Well,
Down,
very
honey.
rhyming.
Little Kingish, right?
Ow, your tail.
There is an optimism in the country because, something new is going to
Ow,
happen. We've seen him before.
Your tail.
We know everything about Donald Trump for the most part.
Thank you.
But he does
Good
seem
boy.
like a uniter this
Come
time
on,
around.
stop
And
sitting on her butt.
everywhere I go,
Lay down with it.
people go, you know what, I'm kind of excited because when you find out how he has promised to bring down prices,
That's the number one thing
everybody Everybody pays money for stuff. Forget about politics.
I'm with it.
You want more money in your
Go
pocket.
on.
He's saying, I'm going to put more money in your pocket, and that's why people
Lay
are
down with
optimistic.
it.
Can I just point out one thing?
Yeah.
It seems like Chris, and
Lay down with it.
Something is different about the studio today.
Go on.
right here, right?
Moosh.
All right, well,
Look this side over here.
let's see, how can we help you? Coffee.
You have to
I'll buy
try to
coffee. I'll buy coffee today.
I'll pay.
I'll do it today. You will. Okay. Chris, what would you like?
Hey, Chris, don't you have anything to do?
You need my phone to order coffee. Here, Chris. Lexi, do you need?
Anyway,
All right, here you go, Lexi.
it's a very festive day.
You just got a little bit of space. You have to do the show.
Can you tell that we were at a Christmas party until late last night?
All right, over to
Probably a timeout.
yeah. You know what? Don't go. I don't want to go yet.
First
We're going to Carly with the news.
We have so many reporters. And it just
Fight.
He's so
Carly,
cute. That's enough. No, lay down with it. Your tail hurts me. Ow. Here it comes. It's coming.
The largest single day
Oh.
of clemency
Ow.
in modern history, commuting roughly 1,500 sentences and pardoning.
That tail has a life of its own, I
The
swear.
move announced overnight follows the president.
Would you lay down with
To
it?
pardon his son Hunter, who faced sentencing this month for
Hey,
theft
you
and
tear it up.
convictions. A low-flying plane
You silly
crashing
tank.
into an intersection in South Texas yesterday. The small twin-engine
You're doing
plane hit
amazing.
first and hurting 4 people after crash landing on a busy intersection. Imagine being.
Hey, don't chew it.
One witness who helped rescue the pilot, giving a
Ugh,
play-by-play
get on my
of the
face.
aftermath.
You're so weird. Lay down.
Was the pilot able to talk to you?
Go on.
He was. And he was at the one point he
Jeez.
make a comment that he said, hey, again, he was probably in shock. He just said, my boss is going to be really mad at me.
Wow, the FAA is investigating the cause of this crash. Whoa. Country superstar Morgan Wallen is set to appear in a Tennessee courtroom for a plea hearing after felony charges against him are misdemeanors. It's all over his April arrest when people say he threw a chair from a rooftop of a Nashville bar. This video was provided to us by EarthCam. This is Wallen's first appearance in court, and current charges still include 2 counts of reckless endangerment. And we have some sad news to report. Known as the Amazing Kreskin has died at his home in New Jersey a month before his 90th birthday. A statement from his friend and former manager says he did know well in recent weeks, but did not list a cause of death. Kreskin launched his career in the 1960s and loved performing mind tricks for fans on talk shows and even here on Fox and Friends.
I'm going to rip these cards behind my back.
Throw mine that way.
Stand here. Put your finger on the deck, Liz. Take the card under your finger out. Take it out. Don't let me see it.
Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth, so I can't see it. Put the 5 of spades face down on the deck in such a way that it's not visible. Can I ask you this?
Wait a minute.
Oh, my goodness.
Right. 5 is...
I got it so...
You're working with that
Are
kid.
you kidding me? Well, the Amazing Kreskin was 89 years old, and he was good at his job, guys. Tricked all of you.
Still don't know how he did it. He probably was on our show 25 times. He's been on the channel 100 times. He was a great guy. He had a very nice.
Every time he appeared was like his first appearance, right? He cared so much.
It was great.
About every moment.
So
it's like
good.
a true pro. Yeah.
How young were y'all, though? I mean, you guys look so young. And
wait, that means we look good now.
It was incredible. Like baby-faced.
Yeah.
What are you saying about how they
What
look?
do you say? You weren't included in it. I did not say Ainsley was not anywhere. I think it's appropriate for men, but not for women. You don't say that to me.
Yeah. Point marks, you were in geometry class in 10th grade. Yeah.
Hey, Brian, I got news. Was probably earlier than that. We've been doing this show
You don't
for
know what you
20
want to
years.
Okay.
Yeah, you were still getting your bowlers in.
Yeah. They're still there.
Up against the 26-year-old accused of gunning down United Healthcare CEO Brian Tom last week, as police now say they've matched the gun in Luigi Mangioni's possession to shell casings at the crime scene.
I hope you guys are having a great morning.
Behind also.
I really do.
We're also able in our crime lab to match the person of interest's fingerprints with fingerprints that we found on water bottle and the Kind bar near the scene.
Mangione faces a second-degree murder charge in New York, but the Manhattan DA is indicating additional charges could soon be filed. Andrew Whitty, the United Health CEO, had this to say in a memo to employees this week, quote, "We owe it to make good on our promise to make healthcare work better for everybody in every way." This, as Senator Elizabeth Warren is making headlines for calling the target of a healthcare leader a warning. Watch.
Violence is never through. This guy gets a trial who's allegedly killed the CEO of United Health. But you can only push people so far. And then they matters into their own hands.
That's disgusting.
And now police are investigating these wanted posters popping up across New York City, naming executives in the healthcare industry, saying things like, quote, "Healthcare CEOs should not feel sick." Mangione remains behind bars without bail in Pennsylvania, where he is fighting extradition to New York. Guys?
All right, thanks so much. All right, meanwhile, 28 minutes before the bottom, and 28 minutes after the hour. In just a few hours, like Donald Trump, set to ring the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange.
Wait a minute.
This comes as the latest Fox News poll of the year. And
Did they just say that somebody is making pictures on the CEOs of insurance companies? That sounds an awful like something is done on our YouTube community streets, isn't it? Fake wanted posters? I wonder. Interesting.
Last one shows just how much the economy matters to Americans. 60% say the economy is extremely important.
It is.
For Donald Trump to focus on when he becomes president and he lowers prices.
The latest polling also shows a majority believe the border will be more secure with the Trump administration in charge.
All in all, most voters say his victory is hopeful about what lies ahead under the Trump agenda. Incoming White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt joins us now. Good morning.
Congratulations.
Who is optimistic?
Yes. I don't think you've been on the Kirby couch for this since it was named.
I think this is the first time. Yes.
How are you preparing for it?
Reading and researching and utilizing the brilliant mind I have coming into this cabinet, sitting down with Scott Bessent this week, Senator Kelly Loeffler to talk about SBA, just being a sponge for their wisdom.
Yeah, just keep it going, you guys. Another beautiful, cold-ass day.
Trump is going to take strong action.
And you have Dana here.
I do, and they've given me phenomenal advice.
I'm sure you don't need advice from us, but I remember.
Let's hear it, Brian.
But Tony Snow, White House, I got this radio show, and I remember he said to me, I go, "What was your prerequisite? Why did you just do it?" He said, "Because the president told me, George W. Bush,
oh, be a good boy
I could
now.
be in
Come
the
on.
meetings because I didn't want it relayed to me what was happening.
Face.
I had to be there." Do you have that type of guarantee?
Absolutely, yes. I have a direct relationship with President Trump. I can call him. He will answer. I've been working for him now for a couple of years. So he's a great boss. No question. He tells you the truth.
This is going to be a pace from the last 4 years because when the people in the briefing room ask actual questions, they get something read out of a binder, and it is not
so cute.
Sometimes accurate, and sometimes it's just flat out
really
lie.
are so
absolutely.
cute.
There's certain lack of transparency over the past 4 years. If you talk to reporters off the record, they will tell you they're excited that President Trump will be back in the Oval Office because they know how much access they had to him and his press secretaries in his first term.
Well, it's not just the press that are excited now because now you're going to have a president on record, going to have you having some exchanges back and forth. But the country is united right now. Everybody sees the joy. You're seeing people in Manhattan with MAGA hats. They're just, you got business CEOs that want to have meetings with the president. They want to once criticize him, but saying, we want to work with him. Is the president surprised by that right now?
I don't think so. I mean, I think President Trump understands how the game is played, right? He's been in this world of politics now for many years, but it is great to see unification that's happening across this country, not just with folks at Main Street, but also Wall Street. We're going to the New York Stock Exchange today. And also the American people. I feel there's a real palpable spirit out there. People feel more optimistic because they know we're going to have a real leader again who's going to make this country safe and strong and wealthy.
So today, Tom Homan's got an invitation. He's going to follow through with Mayor Adams. I want to talk to you about how you want to do that. We have a sanctuary city Adams is really hostage to the city council. Do you have a chance to talk to Tom Homan going in, and what do you hope comes out of it?
Certainly. I haven't spoken to Tom Homan about his meeting with Mayor Adams today. I do know Tom Homan is the best and the brightest when it comes to border, along with Stephen Miller, who will be our chief of staff over policy in the White House, Governor Kristi Noem, who will be leading DHS. Together, they make a very strong team who will be wholly focused on how we can secure the border, and most of all, empower local and federal law enforcement to work together in these sanctuaries, which will be no more when President Trump is back in the White House. And they will find ways legally to shut down the border on day one and to this mass deport people support. That's why they elected Donald Trump.
Indeed. In fact, there are tens of thousands of people who are in the country illegally, and they should be deported to their home country. The home country is China, and China won't take them back. Maybe that's one of the things incoming president.
Why won't they take them back?
About,
see, this is
because reportedly,
this is another thing that gets my goat. It gets my goat. Okay. When we try to do people out of our country, their own country won't take them back. Just think about that for a second. That's ridiculous. That is a telltale sign that, like Trump said, he was right. They weren't sending their best. In my opinion, allegedly on YouTube.
Sounds like Donald Trump has invited
Why wouldn't they take him back?
Xi to the inauguration. What can you tell us about that?
I don't get it.
That's true, yes. And this is an example of President Trump
people
creating an open dialogue with leaders of countries that are allies but are adversaries and our competitors too. We saw this in his first term. He got a lot of criticism for it, but it led to peace around this world. He is willing to talk to anyone, and he will always put America's interests first.
Has he RSVP'd?
To be determined.
Have other leaders been invited?
Yes. Typically, the inaugural committee sends invitations to the foreign dignitaries of other countries. That's precedent. Our inaugural committee is doing that as well. And so we'll see who shows up.
Do you know about, in particular, with the president and this crowd? Last time, there's big controversy about crowd size. Does the president care if his crowd is bigger than last time, bigger than Barack Obama's, bigger than Joe Biden?
Well, everything
of
over
course
here is going to be a very large. We'll estimate the size. We will see on January 20th. But what I will say on the foreign leader point is foreign leaders are lining up to talk to Donald Trump right now. He put out a truth about tariffs, and Justin Trudeau flew to Mar-a-Lago.
Good morning, everybody. Good
morning. He had a great call with the president of, and it's
are you listening to the news with me? You are.
Understand you saw it in Paris last
You're
weekend.
listening to the
He got
news
the
with me.
full presidential celebration everywhere he went. He had
That's
great
what's up.
meetings with the Prince of Wales.
That's my jam.
بزاف للكوزينة وراني
Yes.
نخدم في الحلوى وفي لي كوموند البنات. انا الفور تاعي راني البنات والبنات قلت لكم سختو اللي عندها الفور اللي يشعل من فوق
penny fours.
رائعين. توفيق بالغرض. هنايا شتوني اني ستفت كامل.
Sorry for the listening viewers.
لانه بزاف قالوا لي الا نقدروا نديروا
Oh yeah.
12 الوالا طيبتهم شتوهم ومن بعد عاود.
Okay, sorry. Okay, check me out.
Drone mystery.
About another 10 minutes. Here's another story on the drones.
Homeland Security. They don't know anything. They are not utilizing their resources. It's excuse after excuse. There's no credible threat, but we don't know anything.
Plus,
There's no credible threat, but we don't know anything. So weird. How do you know if there's a threat of anything? That is so, because I told you to, because I said so, right? Because I said so. Just do what I said because I said so. That is so just frustrating, infuriating.
All their resources, it's excuse after excuse. There's no credible threat, but we don't know anything.
No credible threat, but we don't know anything.
Big tech joining the Trump train with Meta reportedly making major donation.
Meta!
You're watching Fox and Friends First here on a Thursday morning.
Let's go.
I'm Carly Shimkus. Lucas Tomlinson is live in Washington with a...
You know I'm right, Marjo. That's like so, do as I say because I said so. And you live under my roof. So you have to fucking just sit down and shut up. You know what I mean? Or I'm going to get the belt and spank you. Like, get out of my face. What the fuck? My own government's talking to me like a foster parent. That's so frustrating. That, you know what that does? I have, what is it called? Authoritative opposition defiance disorder. And I'm telling you, that really sticks in my right there. That right there. Whoo! I get defiance going for sure.
Mysterious drone
That
sightings.
makes me
Hi,
want to
Lucas.
rage.
Well, good morning, Carly and Todd. That's right. Across the U.S. government
I'm
is getting salutes. Nobody seems to know what's flying over the...
Are you scared? Are you scared? Don't be scared.
These are not U.S. military drones. Again, this is being investigated by local enforcement. What our initial assessment here is that these are not drones or activities coming from a foreign entity or adversary.
Those Pentagon comments came a few hours after New Jersey Congressman Jim made this claim.
I've gotten to know people, and from very high sources, very qualified sources, very responsible sources, I'm going to tell you the real deal. Iran launched it probably about a month ago that contains these drones. Drones is everything that we can see or hear, and again, these are from high sources. I don't say this lightly.
Rebuttal from New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy.
There was a wild assertion by Congressman Van Drew today about Iran with a big boat off of
a mothership. Whatever that
Come on,
means.
man. The Department of Defense said there's zero evidence.
They're trying to discredit him by saying, ha, mothership. But if you have 5 or 6 drones, there is a mothership that you can attach the 5 or 6 drones to. You take it, they all work together, and they take they go up together, and then you can detach different drones at different times. It is called a mothership. Okay? China makes them. You can Google it. China just sold a whole bunch of drones and motherships to Iran. So this congressman coming out and saying that, it's not a far stretch. I still think it's China, and I still think Biden's allowing it to happen, in my opinion, allegedly on YouTube. Or our government is allowing it to happen because Biden's asleep at the wheel. So I've had this spider living in my house for the last 3 days. I don't want to kill him. Let me show you. He's the wolf spider. He's chill. He's just been running in and out of that little thing right there. I need to move his ass. He needs to go. I ain't smashing him. Kit Kat has technical... That's why she can't write anything. Oh, technical difficulties? Damn, didn't you just get a new phone? Man, that sucks.
Off of
Hi, Kit Kat.
Mothership.
Whatever that
Come on,
means.
man. So the Department of Defense said there's zero evidence to that effect. FBI said zero evidence. I'm not sure what he's been watching lately, but he might want to watch the news. He's going to be on again with the White House.
Oh, the FBI is so trustworthy. I'm not going to smash him. I don't know. I need to get him out of here. I don't want him to bite the dogs. Or the kitty cats.
Tomorrow, I want folks out there to not... Listen, you're frustrated, so are we. But I promise you this is our top priority.
So today, New Jersey police chiefs are invited to a briefing with state police and the Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness. Carly Todd.
In response to government, maybe you should show up to one of the many meetings that you call to talk about this with various lawmakers.
Yeah, and a lot of New Jersey lawmakers were upset about that.
Lucas, thank you.
A lot of complaints.
I thought he just came in to die. You know what I mean? But he ain't dead. I was going to let him die in the warmth. But, he's not dying. It's the 3rd day, and there he is this morning drinking coffee with me, so I'm gonna have to do something about his fucking ass for sure.
Of the governor's race, 25, that's the year next year. New Jersey gubernatorial candidate Jack Ciattarelli is going to join us later in the show to discuss these mysterious drone sightings.
And Todd, did you hear about this? Time Out reportedly set to name President-elect Donald Trump their 2024 Person of the Year. It'll be the second time he's been given the honor after receiving it during his first presidential run in 2016.
Spiders
Joe
are
Rogan
good.
and Elon Musk were also reportedly considered finalists for the. Politico says that Trump is planning to unveil his photo on the cover later this week.
And he's reportedly going to do it on one of the city's biggest stages. The president-elect expected to ring the bell, the opening bell, in fact, at the New York Stock Exchange.
Brooke Singman is here with more. Hi, Brooke. Hey, good morning, you guys. Yeah, the president-elect is reportedly set to unveil his new Time Person of the Year cover as he rings the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange a few hours from now. So this comes as the final
let's see if I can do it. I'm going to go for him.
Economy matters to Americans. 60% of respondents saying it's extremely important
There's too
for
many
Trump
spiders.
to focus on lowering prices once
It's
he gets
just
into
one,
office.
and I came in to
Meanwhile,
die in the
FBI
warmth.
Director
I was going to let
Christopher
him
Wray announcing his plans
die,
to step
but
down from the post ahead of the
drinking
incoming
coffee
Trump
with me this
administration.
morning.
After weeks of full thought, I've decided.
I'm telling you, he's dead looking at me. You have a Kit Kat spider?
The right thing for the Bureau is for me to serve until the end of the current administration in January and then step down.
Trump reacting
You know
to
what?
this on his Truth Social, saying, quote, the
I think he's gonna
resignation
jump
of
up,
Christie
so I'm
is
gonna
a
get the
great day
broom.
for America as it will end the weaponization of what has become known as the United States Department of
He's looking
Injustice.
dead at me like,
Trump's pick to
bitch.
replace Wray as FBI Director Kash Patel was on Capitol Hill meeting with senators yesterday, and he says this is going to be ready to hit the ground running. Listen.
We look forward to a very smooth transition of the FBI, and I'll be ready to go on day one.
Have you talked to President-elect Trump? Several other nominees for Trump's cabinet were yesterday on Capitol Hill meeting with lawmakers, including Kristi Noem, Tulsi Gabbard, John Ratcliffe, and Pete Hegseth. And Hegseth is expected to meet with Pennsylvania Senator later today. Guys,
I'd like to be a fly on the wall in that one. That one's going to be an interesting
John Bennet's moved to the center
I
in
know,
a unique 2024
think
twist.
of how he got his position, very far left, so it's going to be an interesting chat. But open minds, open hearts, let's see what happens. Brooke, thank you. 1,500 firefighters.
All right, we got him out safely.
Yes, the Franklin wildfire torches more than 4,000 acres. We're talking to one Malibu resident who's actually helping firefighters as flames close in on
Alf
his
just
own
got
neighborhood.
a can of paint on his
CEO killer Luigi Mangione report on the latest from the investigation next.
With a Fox News alert, police say fingerprints found near the United Healthcare.
She's not gonna freeze. I put her in the sun on the plant. She came from outside. Paint the townhouse. And I put it in the sunshine. So it's chill.
Directly to the crime scene where United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was gunned down last week.
We were able to match that gun to the 3 shell casings. That
It's
we
chill. I don't
found
want to
in
put a
town
spider.
at the
I don't
scene
want to do
of the
that.
homicide.
Mangione faces a second-degree murder charge in New York, but
I was like, oh my God, I need something now to get this out of here.
Charges could soon be filed as his office
We're
learns more
paint
about
all
the
over
motive. Well, Andrew Whitty, the United Health Group CEO, had this to say in a memo to employees this week. We owe it to
Yeah, it's a little wolf spider, but if it bit the dog or one of the kitty cats in here, it would definitely leave a wound.
Violence is never the answer. This guy gets a trial who's allegedly the CEO of United Health. But you can only push people so far. And then they start to take matters into their own hands.
Yeah. Preserve whenever you can.
Ominous wanted posters popping up across New York City in recent days.
Just preserve it.
Executives in the
Doesn't mean you have
healthcare
to love
industry
it.
saying things like healthcare CEOs should not feel safe. Meantime, Mangione remains behind bars without bail in Pennsylvania, where he is fighting his extradition to New York. Guys.
So many of these politicians, people on the left,
Be
are failing to
kind.
read the room on this one, and it is absolutely stunning.
Violence is never
Just
a
the name
murder.
wolf spider.
And then she said, but.
Chanley, thank you.
Vacuum.
Natalie Fox wildfire alert. The Franklin fire is growing to over 4,000 acres late last night.
That's cool.
In the
Each
Malibu
their own.
area, it's only 7% contained.
That's right. The blaze has already
Jesus.
destroyed at least 9 structures and damaged 6 and has left entire neighborhoods without power and water.
Over 12,000 people still under evacuation orders, including celebrities like Jane Seymour, Cher, and Dick Van Dyke. And another 7,000 individuals are under evacuation warnings.
More than
Cleansing the earth. The fires. They big and jump high. Yeah, that's why they're called wolves. Me too, because I'm so short. I get a step ladder and transfer them outside. Nah, I've never actually seen a recluse or a black widow, knock on wood, in real life.
1,500 firefighters have been battling the wind-driven fire since
But I
Monday.
ain't been
Officials
looking
now
either.
say it could take a number of days before the blaze is completely.
Yeah, wolf spiders are pretty big.
Weather forecast. This thing keeps on burning.
Yes, the good news is the weather is going to cooperate for the first day in a number of days. I mean, from nothing.
Yeah, because it has like a fiddle on its back. It looks like a fiddle. My daughter was bit by in Kentucky. Damn, Kentucky. What the fuck is Kentucky, Elizabeth? Gah. Get your mouth around your words. West Virginia's full of them. I ain't been looking. I don't want to start nothing with be nothing. Jesus. Of course you had to rush to the hospital. That shit's crazy. It eats the skin.
To 4,000 acres in just a matter of days. Only 7% containment. Winds are still offshore. We need them to be onshore, bringing in that relative
that's a good
humidity.
name for a
So
band.
the Pacific Coast Highway still closed.
I have gotten into Appalachian music lately. I love it.
So now moving towards the west, and we need them to move offshore, or rather, we need them to move onshore to bring in. And that's what's going to happen in the next 24 to 48 hours as we get
Rain coming
another surge of Pacific rainfall moving
Good.
into the coast, and then we also get some snow. Going to be as far
Jesus.
south as
It is a flesh
you know,
eater.
the mid part of California, but
Yeah,
still
Mama
Southern
Red.
California
Flesh
will get
eater.
in on some of that relative
Hey, if I ever
humidity
start a
coming
band,
up
that's gonna be
because
its
of the
name,
next storm
Flesh
system moving in
Eater.
this weekend and
She was like
into
9.
Monday. So
Gee,
San
that
Francisco
probably
up towards the
devastating.
northwest, you're going to get a lot of rain in a short period of time. Flooding is going to be a risk, but we
I bet she has severe arachnophobia now. At Mama Red. I'll bet. Getting bit as a young child that severely, that would make me scared for life for sure.
really need that help for the wildfires in Southern California. Current temperatures, the other big story
33 in
is
Atlanta.
the Arctic air mass that is
33
moving
degrees
into
in
the Midwest northern plains. These are
Kit
coldest
Kat, the
wind chills right
chocolate
now.
flesh
Negative
eater.
42 in Warroad, Minnesota. Duluth
That's
is negative
funny.
38. You get the picture.
She got
You've got a
that
blast of
blood
cold air moving in.
and the red
And here's
line
the
all over
forecast
her
for the
arm
rest
was
of the country. The
crazy.
central U.S. fairly quiet.
Ah,
We do
bruh.
have some moisture.
That means it got into the bloodstream. God have mercy. That is fucking scary. I got goose pimples just thinking about it.
Its way in from the Gulf of Mexico. We had a big storm system here in the Northeast. That has moved offshore. Still very gusty winds across the Northeast. And then our next storm system moves into the west, and that's going to be better news for residents in Southern California. The winds are going to calm down, and they're going to be more of an onshore flow, which is going to bring up the relative humidity, which is what they really need to fight that fire in Malibu.
That is important news, but the next 24 hours are still crucial. Janice,
Absolutely. I mean, we don't have a lot of containment,
You don't.
so.
Thank you very much. Let's go to a resident out there who's dealing with Matt Greenberg. He lives in Malibu, stayed behind to help firefighters battle the flames in his neighborhood. Matt, I understand that your house is okay. What about the homes of your friends?
Yeah, my place was, sorry to excuse me, it's 2 in the morning here, and it's been quite a long time, long last 48 hours. Yeah, my place is okay.
Damn. Fires are big. Free spiders. Same happened to my cousin and a brown recluse. Yuck. Yeah, I've never seen one in real life, Mama Red. Never.
residents and not multiple fire trucks and firemen. So it's respect to them. I'd say that all the first responders have been amazing. The firefighters especially, I mean, they were the life and blood of all of this. But the Los Hills Sheriff's Department and all of the other counties, or the other sheriff's departments in LA County and probably other counties, we just thank them so much for keeping order as much as possible, and especially the firefighters for being out there and actually fighting these fires.
True.
As we, and then we could assist as well.
It can't be how much good they are doing, because as you get a little bit further into the Palisades, I was having breakfast with my buddy in the Palisades, who's from the Palisades, and he's like, we were
28 hours to go back out. I hear you, girl. Well, see, something like that I would smash on site. That wouldn't have to ever worry about it. Just like, I love snakes, but poisonous snakes? Absolutely not. Shovel. Burn it with fire. Like, seriously. If it's poisonous and can kill me, it's dead. Immediately. Fuck that. Alright, girls. I gotta shake my tail feathers out. Get to work. Yeah, copperheads. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely not. Shovel, head detachment, the whole 9 yards. In my opinion. I love you. Thank you. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. I'll do this again. Gotta get up early. Watch the news. I'll watch it with y'all and drink coffee. I'm gonna walk these dogs before I gotta go because I couldn't leave them out as long this morning because it's so cold outside. So I'm gonna give them a good walk outside before I leave them. I bought the kitty cats some new toys. I hear them in there. It's really cute. All right. I love you. Bye, guys. See you later. You guys have great days. Days and sunshines. Blessings.